This as lawmakers demand answers. A Republican senator calls his briefing with the president's team insulting, demeaning, the worst he's seen. Now, as the House vote on limiting the president's war powers with Iran, Vice President Pence joins us right here on GMA.
Plane crash mystery. The new clues this morning. What brought down that Ukrainian airliner in Iran shortly after those missile strikes? What the damage in these photos may reveal.
Royal retreat. The fallout this morning from Harry and Meghan's bombshell announcement saying they're going to step back as senior members of the royal family, blindsiding the Queen. We are live at Buckingham Palace with the very latest.
Severe storm alert on the heels of these snow squalls in the east, a major new threat forming. The powerful storm brewing in the heartland, about to bring tornadoes and flash flooding.
ABC News exclusive. With the fiancé of that Texas mother found dead after she and their newborn vanished. He's now speaking out for the first time since being reunited with his baby daughter.
Can't touch this. And Jeopardy James strikes back. James Holzhauer knocking out Ken Jennings in day 2 of their primetime showdown. Now the former champs ties, who will take the title of greatest of all time.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Hope you're well this Thursday morning. Boy, talk about a battle of the Titans.
Oh, yeah, they're going at it.
Certainly is. We're going to be talking about that later, but it is a really busy morning. We've got a lot of news to tell you about, starting with that latest on the showdown with Iran. Both sides backing off from military action for now, but President Trump promising tough sanctions for those strikes on U.S. forces.
And in a moment, George is going to speak with Vice President Mike Pence, but first, our senior foreign correspondent, Ian Panel, starts us off in Erbil, Iraq, with the very latest. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. I'd say a slight easing of tensions here, although with this latest rocket strike, we're not in the clear just yet. And for U.S. troops, I think real dangers remain. Overnight, another rocket strike towards the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad's international green zone. This morning, a spokesperson for the coalition saying there were no casualties or damage to facilities there. This, as U.S. military is assessing the impact in Iraq at the 2 bases Iran attacked overnight Tuesday. Satellite images show what the Al-Assad base looked like last month, and this is what it looks like today. The damage to structures clearly visible. Over 20 missiles were launched at 2 sites, some carrying 1,000-pound warheads. Remarkably, no U.S. coalition or Iraqi forces were killed, but the Pentagon says Iran's intent was clear: to kill American troops. Iran claiming on state TV it had killed dozens of Americans and the 2 military bases were crushed. President Trump making it clear that isn't the case.
We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe.
The president trying to ease tensions, saying he's ready to embrace peace, but still punishing Iran.
The United States will immediately impose additional punishing economic sanctions on the Iranian regime. These powerful sanctions will remain until Iran changes its behavior.
And U.S. intelligence agencies warning Iran still remains a threat at home and abroad. I think a couple of things to be aware of. Despite the conciliatory tone from the president, I think this latest rocket attack highlights the fact that pro-Iranian militias here in Iraq are still looking for revenge. Secondly, the Iranians regard further sanctions as a form of economic warfare, so that, of course, won't help ease tensions. And lastly, there's still massive pressure from both Iraq and Iran for U.S. troops to leave. George?
Ian Panel, thanks. We are joined now by the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. Vice President Pence, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, George.
We just heard Ian Panel say that pro-Iranian militias are looking for revenge. And intelligence officials briefing members of Congress have warned that U.S. troops in the region could face more of a threat now from those militias. That threat is very real, isn't it?
That threat continues to be very real. In fact, the attack on December 27th that claimed an American life, injured 4 American service members, was by Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. And George, we're ready. We're making it very clear we're not going to tolerate violence. But thanks to the decisive action that President Trump took Qasem Soleimani off the battlefield, sent a very clear message that the United States of America will defend our people. We'll defend our interest. And as we stand here today, thanks to the professionalism of our military personnel in the wake of that Iranian missile strike, no American casualties, no coalition casualties, and I'm pleased to report that Iran continues to appear to stand down.
We all are grateful for no casualties in that attack. As you know, there's been some harsh criticism, even from some of the president's closest allies on Capitol Hill, about the quality of information provided to Congress. Conservative Senator Mike Lee called it probably the worst briefing yesterday he's ever gotten. Let's listen.
One of the messages we received from the briefers was, do not debate, do not discuss the issue of the appropriateness of further military intervention against Iran. And that if you do, you'll be emboldening Iran. I find this insulting and demeaning.
That debate is going to happen in Congress today. Our members of Congress are debating the President's War Powers Act emboldening Iran. And how do you respond to Senator Lee?
Well, look, a great respect for Senator Mike Lee as well as Senator Rand Paul. But the truth is both of them have voted against military action that's been taken by this administration in self-defense in Yemen and in the region, and we respectfully disagree with them. But look, with regard to the intelligence, I think many members of Congress came from the briefing yesterday and recognized that the president took action to take Qasem Soleimani off the battlefield based on an imminent threat to American forces and American personnel in the region. And I believe, having seen all the intelligence, George, that the president was right to act. He had a duty to act.
But that has left you in a bit of a bind, hasn't it? Because, as you know, many other members of Congress have walked out of those briefings saying they didn't see anything new. They didn't see convincing evidence of an imminent threat. Can you provide more convincing evidence to the public to convince them that there was indeed an imminent threat?
In the last 6 months, in the wake of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign, we've seen a rise of violence, all being driven by Soleimani. 2 of our drones shot down, an American service member killed. We've seen attack against shipping, of course, the Saudi refinery that was attacked. All of that was driven by Soleimani, and our intelligence supported the view that after we struck back at those militia bases in northern Iran or northern Iraq, Soleimani was traveling the region, making plans to bring an attack against American personnel and American forces. And President Trump took action, took him off the battlefield, and the intelligence supports that. That's what was reported to members of Congress. But obviously, George, as you understand, having worked in this building many years ago, when it comes to intelligence, we have to protect sources and methods. And so there's only a certain amount that we can share with every member of Congress. But those of us who have seen all the evidence know that there was a compelling case of an imminent threat against American personnel, and President Trump was right to act to take the world's most dangerous terrorists off the battlefield.
Mr. Vice President, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.
And, that vote to block the president from taking further military action is set for the House today. Of course, they would want Congress to approve it. If it passes the House, it goes to the Senate. With the loss of those 2 Republicans, it could pass the Senate as well. That could shape up for a presidential veto.
Could be razor thin. George, we're going to turn out to that other major story out of Iran. New clues this morning on the final moments before the plane went down, killing all 176 people on board. David Curley joins us now with the very latest on that investigation. Good morning, David.
Morning, Cecilia. The Iranians have issued their first report and suggesting that the jetliner actually was trying to turn around. But that's not what the data we have shows. It shows a straight line and then a sudden end to data. This morning, investigators around the world are examining these pictures and this video, looking for clues in the wreckage as to what caused that Ukrainian 737 to crash soon after takeoff from Tehran. The 176 on board, all killed less than 4 hours after Iran had fired that barrage of missiles at American targets, raising questions whether Iran's anti-aircraft system may have shot down this jetliner, something Iran's armed forces deny.
Right now, we don't have enough data to go one way or the other. Is a shoot down possible? Yes. Can I come up with mechanical failures that are possible? Yes. And right now, we just don't have the data.
The Ukrainian jet was allowed to take off an hour late, just after 6 in the morning. Its takeoff appeared normal. It headed west and gained altitude. But just 2 minutes into its flight, less than 5,000 feet above the ground, it disappears suddenly from radar. Just 10 miles from the airport, its burning wreckage glowed in the early morning darkness. Some believe one clue may be in these pictures of the fuselage, a hole blown from the outside in. Could that be from missile shrapnel? That's what was found on MH17, which was shot down over Ukraine.
What we saw in terms of the magnitude of the flame and the fact that something happened about 3 seconds before the actual crash that may have been the structure of the airplane falling apart, that's not explicable with an engine.
Now, already the Iranians have said they are not going to share the black box with Boeing, the manufacturer, or American investigators, but they have invited other parties to be part of that investigation, so there is a chance those other parties, including the Ukrainians, may share the data at some point, and that will tell us what actually happened to this aircraft. Michael?
All right, a lot of questions to be answered. Thank you so much, David. And now to Australia, where temperatures are set to rise again, fueling those devastating wildfires. The U.S. State Department has now raised the travel advisory level, telling travelers to consider postponing trips until these conditions pass. Maggie Rulli is in New South Wales with the very latest. Good morning, Maggie.
Yeah, Michael, that new level 2 warning means that any American planning a trip to Australia right now is urged to postpone their visit if they're planning to come to an area like this, somewhere that's been affected by these wildfires. And guys, unfortunately, that area is only growing right now. It's believed more than 15 million acres have burned. At least 25 people have died. And it's thought that more than 1 billion animals have been killed. Now, today we were able to meet up with a dog trainer that actually trains dogs to go into the fire zone to save injured animals, and he says his group has been able to save dozens of koalas. But he also stresses that if they had more dogs, he believes thousands of animals could be saved. Guys, everyone here is bracing for another day tomorrow of high fire danger, and authorities are urging everyone that's meant to be evacuated to get out now. Guys.
It's such a devastating situation down there. We're going to move on now to new details in the case of that missing Connecticut mother of 5. Her estranged husband, Fotis Doulos, charged with murder, but he could be out of jail later today. Amy here with the latest on that. Good morning, Amy.
That's right, George. Good morning. Doulos, his girlfriend, and a third man all appearing in court on Wednesday, all spending the night in jail. But this morning, Doulos and Michelle Troconis are expected to post bond as we learn new clues about the investigation.
This morning, Fotis Doulos expected to post a $6 million bond and be released from jail. A lawyer for the father of 5, who was arrested Tuesday and charged with the murder of his estranged wife, Jennifer Doulos, nearly 8 months after she disappeared, arguing in court Wednesday that the fee was excessive.
You'll almost never see a bond of this magnitude for a person without an extensive criminal record.
You must stay away from the home.
But the judge holding firm, also adding terms for house arrest should Doulos be released from custody. The judge also issuing a protective order for the Doulos children, their nanny, and Jennifer's family, forbidding him from talking to, visiting, or in any way communicating with his children or their nanny, who is now a key witness for the prosecution.
Do you understand all the different terms of the protective order, sir? Will you obey? I will.
Jennifer and her husband were locked in a bitter divorce and custody battle when she vanished after dropping her kids off at school in May. Court documents from 2017 claim the 50-year-old mother feared for her life. Now, new details are emerging from the police investigation. Doulos' attorney confirming he saw police removing an axe from his client's garage during his arrest, but thinks it has no significance to the case.
There's no body. What we have is a suspicious disappearance and an entirely circumstantial case.
Now, if Doulos and Troconis do post bond, and they are expected to, they will face house arrest. They are back in court next month to answer to those charges.
Right, it's surprising he's able to post bond, $6 million bond, because we keep hearing he's in debt.
Right, and despite the fact that they argued it was excessive, somehow they say he's going to be able to do it. Wow. Not sure how.
Thanks, Amy.
You're going to want to stick around for this next story. I know you're into it. The neck and neck fight on Jeopardy's greatest of all time showdown. James Altsauer winning night 2. Now he and Ken Jennings are tied in a battle to be the best, and TJ Holmes is here with the action. So it all came down to the final Jeopardy question last night.
And that final Jeopardy clue was about an ambassador who carried messages between two world leaders in the 19th century. I knew it immediately. Okay? But just like a last-second shot in basketball or a game-winning kick in football, this came down to the last play of the game to determine the second-night winner, even though it was clear who was about to again be the second-night loser.
The greatest Jeopardy contestants of all time went at it for an exciting second night in prime time, with their brains and personalities on display.
What as I'm walking here?
You had me at hello. It was Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
Quite appropriate.
Correct.
In the second match, Jeopardy James Holzhauer returned to form and was quick with the buzzer all night.
James.
What is Blockhead?
Yeah.
Building a lead with his infamous aggressive betting style on his daily doubles.
13,600, please. What is Le Havre?
Yes.
And then there was Brad Rutter, who struggled for a second night in a row.
What is 2?
What is 22?
Ken Jennings, the reigning record holder with a 74-game winning streak, was determined to keep up, taking a page out of Holzhauer's playbook, going all in.
It's 8,400, Alex.
But can you do it?
Is James copyrighted this?
Yeah,
Am I allowed to?
One time use only, you're good.
People are even having watch parties to see this quiz show Clash of the Titans. Even former champs like Austin Rogers can't turn away.
This is just 3 heavyweights. It's like a boxing match.
But it was Holzhauer who has his opponents on the ropes. Rutter didn't even have enough points to compete in the second final Jeopardy. Jennings gave the wrong response.
Sorry.
And Jeopardy James was your runaway winner on this night.
Okay, Brad, you gotta give me something. Brad Rutter, please. Look, we are rooting for this guy now. Yeah. Even though he's had 2 bad nights, he can still win this thing because it's first to get because you had the first player to get to 3 wins. The other 2 only have 1 win apiece. Okay. He could still reel off 3 nights.
At least one.
Give me something.
This is the Olympics.
You can just feel the pain on his face, like the tension.
But guys, he didn't even have enough points to wager in Final Jeopardy. He had to sit it out. Come on, Brad.
He feels bad enough, TJ.
We've been waiting for this competition all our lives, and this is what we get, George.
And since you knew the answer, who were those 2 world leaders who were the
Madison and Napoleon?
Oh, look, he was ready for that.
Oh, ready for it.
Ready for it.
All right.
Thank you, TJ. We are following a lot of other stories this morning, including all the details on the royal exit. Harry and Meghan shocking the world and the royal family by announcing they want to step back from royal duties. The Queen's responding as well. We'll get into that this morning.
Also, that ABC News exclusive, the fiancé of Heidi Broussard speaking out for the first time since being reunited with their daughter. But first, let's head over to Rob.
Hey, Cecilia, you felt it yesterday in D.C. and across New York. The Arctic front coming through, snow squalls as well. These out of Philadelphia, you kind of see it coming in like a dust storm, but a cool shot, another view as you see City Hall here in the foreground on Broad Street getting just taken over by that snow squall. Not a whole lot of accumulation. The next storm coming in is going to have big change. Actually, this is going to pump up the heat, record heat across parts of the east. And because of that, we're looking at severe weather threat beginning tomorrow. Dallas, Houston, Shreveport, Little Rock could be very dangerous and pushing into New Orleans, Jackson, Birmingham, Tallahassee, eventually into Atlanta. Friday afternoon, tornadoes, a distinct possibility with this. And we're going to have some heavy rain, potentially flooding rain from Little Rock up through St. Louis, and 6 to 12 inches of snow behind this in the cold sector. Could see blizzard conditions at times from Kansas City to just south of Green Bay. That's checking what's happening nationally. Time now for your Rainy Cities, brought to you by State Farm.
Congrats, Kim. You got your own car with your own insurance.
No more driving that old hand-me-down.
Did you trade it in?
My parents handed it down to my little brother.
You ready?
Yeah. Surprise! No. Not beige Betty. You guys can't do this to me. Seriously?
That car is like a rite of passage.
How do you expect me to drive this?
Just turn the key and yeah, it's just,
Some of this?
it's automatic, dual cup holders.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Well, Good Friday Eve to you. Heading out the door, bundle up. Temperatures are well below freezing this morning, and we'll have to wait until about 11 a.m. before they're above freezing. About 40 degrees today. Expect a few passing clouds with those light winds. And then it's a big weekend thaw with temperatures getting near records for the area. That's near 70 degrees throughout the area, and a chance for some gusty thunderstorms early Sunday with rain only about 1/3 of an inch. Temperatures pretty mild next week, too.
We'll have all the details.
The third stair always creaked, and your mother told me all her life that I should fix it. Now it reminds me of her. I'm just glad I never fixed it.
Listen, you don't need to go anywhere, Dad.
Meet Christine. She's going to help you around the house.